We stayed at a budget hotel in San Francisco. A gem of a stay. Dirty, filthy, a lot of unhoused. Too happening. We couldn't get into a bar. I mean, we could have, but it was...
We are Sippy Cup Adventures of Northern California, a niche travel channel about travel in Northern California. It's been a couple of months since we last uploaded a video, and we apologize for that, but we appreciate your patience and thanks for being here.
Those of you who follow our channel, you know when we come to San Francisco, we like to stay in the financial district or downtown. We get the high-rise hotel so you can see all the cityscape. But this weekend took us to a budget hotel in Cow Hollow near the Marina District. And the hotel we speak of is the Hotel del Sol. In this video, we'll talk about the Hotel del Sol as well as the landscape of budget hotels on Lombard Street. We will give you some suggestions on hotels you can comfortably reserve and some you may want to stay away from. We will talk about this neighborhood, which feels real safe, and we will talk about parking, which is often a pain point for visitors traveling to San Francisco.
So why did we choose a budget hotel? Well, it was part of a 50th birthday party for our friend in our music community. She bought out the entire hotel, and of course, we paid for our stay, but it was a weekend full of events at the hotel, at the Midway venue, and capped off with a boat trip in the bay.
As I mentioned, the Hotel del Sol is located in the Cow Hollow District or the Marina District. It just depends on what map you look at, but if someone who lives in the neighborhood of Hotel del Sol is asked, where do you live in the city? And they're talking to locals, they would say Cow Hollow. If asked by someone who is not from the city, then they're likely just to say the Marina District. So this was a gem of a stay, but also the area of Cow Hollow. I had no idea. It's such a vibrant neighborhood with bars and restaurants, and it feels really safe. And talking to a bartender last night, he says, yeah, it's one of the safest areas in San Francisco. I just thought it was all budget hotels, cheap, dirty, filthy, a lot of unhoused neighbors. That's just not the case. That's Lombard Street, which is the 101 basically. So anytime we stay in downtown San Francisco and we're headed to like Bodega Bay, we got to take Lombard Street's the main thoroughfare. That's where you see all these budget hotels to the left and right. And then it takes you across the Golden Gate Bridge to the North Bay. So it's a big thoroughfare. And like I said, we've only driven down it. We didn't know there was all this stuff to the left and to the right of Lombard Street.
Most people know Lombard Street for its famous crooked section on Russian Hill, but that part of Lombard Street is actually several blocks east and not part of the highway. The stretch of Lombard Street that we're talking about in this video runs through Cow Hollow and the Marina District. It's been part of U.S. Highway 101 since the Golden Gate Bridge opened in 1937. This corridor became a major route for motorists heading between the bridge and downtown San Francisco, which is why you'll find so many classic motels and budget hotels lining this section of Lombard Street today.
As a whole, many of these budget hotels along Lombard Street have really good reviews, and a bit later we will discuss some of the better budget hotels and some you may want to steer clear of.
At the light, turn right onto Webster Street, then the destination is on your left.
Yeah, so in relation to where Hotel del Sol is off of Lombard, you'll make a right at Webster, and it's just right there. You'll see it on the left. Now, we had parking. It was part of the hotel package. We weren't sure where we were going to park, so we ended up making a left here in Greenwich and just went around the block and came back around. And we were quite pleased with where we got to park, so I'll discuss that in a bit. So there is a 10-minute parking zone where you can unload and check into the hotel right in front of the Hotel del Sol. If you pay for parking, it's $45, and later in the video I'll get more specific on the price. But there's like 10 spots inside here, and it's really secure. Well, there's actually more than 10 spots available. 10 spots were available for us this weekend during this party. So you go in, you'll check in, and they'll let you in, and then they're going to open that gate, and you're going to pull in and choose your parking spot. And it's locked at night.
Unlike many of the old motels built along this stretch for passing motorists, Hotel del Sol has turned its retro roots into a colorful, boutique-style stay with the courtyard vibe that feels a step above the typical budget hotel on Lombard.
And the room itself, it was nice. It was clean. Yeah, there was a little bit of frayed carpet, maybe some chipped paint, but it did well for us. There's an air conditioning unit. The closet, I did not show the closet. The closet was almost the size of the room. It was incredibly large. There's free continental breakfast in the morning in the office between 7 and 10 with coffee and tea served all day. Nice touch.
And what I like is they got trays available to take outside. So just up about 3 blocks is Union Street. Again, I didn't know. We went up there for lunch and like, wow, it's really active up here. Lot to see. And then we're on Webster and you go down Greenwich to Fillmore, and that's a happening spot. As a matter of fact, Saturday night, it was too happening. We couldn't get into a bar. I mean, we could have, but it was a little too crowded. So anyways, but there's options, and we'll talk more about that in the video.
Yeah, so you see the Hotel del Sol right there. So one evening, we took a walk down Greenwich to Fillmore as I looked up this little bar called For the Record, and it was packed. And mostly young folks. This area is a hotbed of young professionals or influencers, maybe, as I'm not quite sure what jobs young professionals have these days, but I digress. Anyways, it was a little too packed for us. Then 3 blocks up is Union Street. It's a bit uphill. And you see straight ahead up the hill is Pacific Heights, which is mostly residential. We had lunch at the Brixton's? Yeah. And friends of ours went to Perry's, which is quite popular. Yeah, Union Street is one of San Francisco's most vibrant shopping and dining districts. I mean, it's lined with historic Victorian buildings. The neighborhood is a mix of, like boutique shops, trendy restaurants, wine bars, cozy cafes. I mean, the area just feels laid back with some upscale charm. What a pleasant surprise. So back to our Google Maps with our overlay. We were just on Union Street, which we were talking about. But there's also the Presidio. A lot to see and do there, a lot of history, so you can always explore the Presidio. Here's some footage of us in 2021 when we took the go-kart tour. We're cruising through the Presidio. It's a great tour. Here's a video right here if you want to see more about the go-kart tour. Highly recommended when visiting in San Francisco. There's the Palace of Fine Arts. Let me take off the overlay here. There we go. Palace of Fine Arts, sometimes there's activities or events going on. It's great for photo opportunity, if nothing else. You've got the Marina Greens that you could walk to. And during our party, there was a retired couple from Dallas. First time in San Francisco. And I said, you've got to explore the city. And they said, yeah, but we don't know what to do. And I said, listen, the cheapest way, not that money was a factor, but I said, just take a walk. It might have been a little far. They probably Ubered to the Marina District and just walk to the water, just in Embarcadero. You can see the Golden Gate Bridge. You can see Alcatraz. You can see everything. Simple, easy, quick, cheap. And that's what they did. There's also Chestnut Street, a very walkable neighborhood, safe neighborhood in the Marina District, likely between Steiner and Divisadero. Seemed to be a hub of restaurants and cafes and boutiques and things of that nature. Highly recommend visiting Chestnut Street as well. Now let's talk about some other hotels on Lombard Street. The following hotels are ones that consistently have the better reviews. So maybe the Hotel del Sol is a bit pricier than what you're willing to pay. And again, we'll speak of the pricing here in a bit. Right around the corner from the Del Sol is the Coventry Hotel, which averages between $110 to $120 per night. A value-focused hotel with an excellent location and solid guest reviews. Then there is the Chelsea Inn, which averages $135 to $150 a night, which is middle tier, clean, comfortable, and well-rated with convenient perks. The Cal Hollow Motor Inn is about $205 per night. It's more upscale among the motels with larger room options and amenities. Then there is the Affinity Hotel, a tapestry collection by Hilton. Now, I'm just learning of this hotel, and it looks really nice. And I had to investigate this stay a bit more. It's the newest hotel with a nicer, more modern feel. The Affinity Hotel averages between $215 to $233. per night, and as you can see by these photos, there are rooftop patios. I can't find any information if these are for guests, all guests, or just for guests that have upgrades or it's part of their room. Come on, Hilton. Got to do better than that. Now let's speak of some hotels on Lombard Street you may want to steer clear of. The first is Motel 6. Here is one review.
I couldn't stay here. So many cockroaches and algae on the walls. Black mold. It's a fire hazard.
Then there's the Lombard Plaza Motel. It's just dated. That's the overall consensus. The Marina Motel.
The hotel is nostalgic, but there was a lot of traffic. It's 6 lanes of traffic going 24/7. I was ready to jump off the bridge.
And finally, there's the Days Inn by Wyndham, which has mixed feedback with more cons than pros. Someone called it the nightmare on Lombard Street with blood-stained bedding and flickering lights. Listen, it boils down to this. Just don't stay at the cheapest hotels. They're not dangerous, just really old, and they lack renovation. And all of these hotels have a common complaint, and that is thin walls. You can hear everything. And that is no different at the Hotel del Sol. The walls are thin. If you're considering staying at the Hotel del Sol, try and get a room on the 3rd floor so you won't hear anybody above you at the minimum. And the Hotel del Sol is the priciest of this group of hotels, averaging $300 a night. Now, we did not pay $300 a night when we stayed. The group rate was actually quite affordable. But how the Hotel del Sol separates themselves from other hotels on Lombard Street and the area is their secure parking. But more than the amenities or maybe the price or location, what is most critical to those visiting San Francisco is the parking. You don't want to get broken into, and although this area of the Marina District is generally safer than other areas of the city, know before you go. Simply call a hotel and ask about them. Now, my research did give me a comparison of all these hotels' parking situations. I'm not going to itemize each of these hotels. Yes, most hotels along Lombard Street do charge for parking, and it's often in the range of $20 to $40 per night. Depending on the property, the Hotel del Sol happens to be $45. Many of them have small lots or garages with limited availability, and while some offer free parking, especially those more basic motels, free parking is less common near the more desirable parts of Lombard Street, close to Cow Hollow and the Marina. The Hotel del Sol does stand out because it includes the gated secure lot, which is relatively rare in that area. Now, the Hotel del Sol doesn't have refrigerators. We had to rely on our Yeti, and apparently the rooms are smaller than other budget hotels on Lombard Street. And the courtyard no longer has the grass area or palm trees. It now looks like this, which is fine with this courtyard and fireplace and chairs. And the TV situation, yeah, they have Google Chromecast. It's not easy. Now, we don't come to the city to watch TV in our room, but I do like to catch the local news and the weather specifically, and maybe have a baseball or football game on. Eventually, we figured it out, but if you're not technologically savvy, then you're going to have to get the staff to help you out or rely on your phone. If you're able to watch from your phone, then that falls under the technology savvy part. Anyways, you won't just be able to turn on the TV and watch it. Trust me.
Hotel del Sol takes the classic Lombard Street motel experience and elevates it just enough. Colorful charm, added perks, walkable locations, while still remaining budget conscious. Compared to other functional chain-style motels nearby, it offers more personality and a communal vibe without sacrificing value. Perfect for your family or group-style stay with flair and convenience, especially when you want something fun that doesn't break the bank. We feel like we know the city quite well, but we don't because this neighborhood was quite a nice surprise for us. We are so grateful that this epic birthday party allowed us to do something different and really get to explore something entirely new.